Man, oh man, oh man. Welcome back. Kind of like, like wintertime, springtime, summer, and the fall. It's always going to keep coming back. Welcome back. It's your main man, the one and only Coach Tony. And of course, this is the Pull Up Podcast Show. Tonight, we got another phenomenal show. We're going to talk to you guys about these small school players in the same ramification as those D1, D2 players. And this person we've got on tonight has gone on through the ranks and now sitting on my side of the house in the coaching, wearing the coaching hat. So we're looking for a phenomenal show, and it's going to be great. But before we do that, we're going to do a couple of things first. Val, drop.
It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up, pull up. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up, pull up. Bounce the voice and Coach Tony, it's the Pull Up Podcast. Show. I said bounce the voice and Coach Tony, it's the Pull Up Podcast. Show. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast.
Man, welcome back to the Pull Up Podcast with the one and only Coach Tony. And this is episode 309. We just rolling through here, third season. Val, do me a favor, too, as I shout out a couple of my people out there. Of course, my girl Bella sitting in the studios like, what's up, Coach Tony? Bella, I'm always going to check in with you. Val, make sure you throw my babies up because I'm always dedicating my show to my granddaughters. And I sent her a very cute picture of them, and when she throws it up, of course, I do the major shout out at that point. We got a couple other people, Coach Justin checking in, got a few other people in here tonight. Tonight's show is going to be phenomenal. But before we get into the details of that, make sure you do a few things for me. One, let's make sure we like the show. Two, make sure we share the show. And most important, make sure you subscribe to the show. One of the hottest sports podcasts in the country, as we give you quarter by quarter of sports talk information. This person that we have on tonight, I absolutely love this guest. She's young, she's vibrant, she's in the sports side of the house. She's now on the coaching side of the house after playing year after year. We're going to dig into some details. She coming from a back door from Tony Dorsett's back door, baby, back in Pittsburgh, PA. For those that don't know, and just in case Pops is listening, we're going way back to baseball land, and my boy Willie Stargell used to put him out the ballpark. We're going to bring in my guest, my girl, the one and only, Coach Alexiss Griggs. Welcome to the show, Coach. How you doing?
Doing great, Coach Tony. How are you?
Man, you need to keep me as your sidekick. So everywhere you come in the room, I introduce you like that. We got the rodeo going.
Yes, we do.
How are you doing this evening?
Oh, I'm doing great. I'm blessed and very honored to be here. Thank you for having me on your podcast.
Oh, man, I'm blessed. I'm just glad that you can take time out your busy schedule, hang out with us on the Pull Up Podcast show. As we get started here, let's get back when you were coming up, growing up in PA, starting to play basketball. Was basketball your first love, or was it another sport as you were coming up as a kid?
I honestly love this question because I actually was a dancer. I know. I was a dancer. I did jazz.
That's like when people say dancing, I'm looking at one of three things. Is that like a ballerina dancing, or that like a Broadway type of dance, or that just like get your boogie on dance?
Oh, I was ballerina, like points, like had the recitals and everything. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So, I know. And then, so how I got into basketball or sports, it's kind of my family. We've always been a sports family, but I was more of into the, girly girl or even just dancing side of things, but still love that. Still love to get my hair done, makeup done, and nails as well. But my mom put me in a rec league and signed my sister up as well. And me and her were both like, okay, like we're going to just try this out. And we had our first game, first practice, and the rest is history from there. But I was a triathlete as well. So I did track in high school and volleyball in high school as well. But all of them centered around my first love, which was basketball.
Man, hey, first of all, tell Pops I'm already giving him high pounds. Second of all, my grandbabies, I hope because they listening. I got to shout out real quick, Alexis, to my granddaughter, Mrs. Little Skylar, because she's always on the show, which makes me just love doing this thing. Skylar Wilson, and of course the baby girl, 2 years old, just in the house right now, little Miss Olivia, and both of them. And I laugh on that, Alexis, because when I'm babysitting, we running, we walking, we going jogging, we working on sports. And she was doing like you. She was dancing and in gymnastics and very strong. And then, my daughter didn't put her in that this year. So I said, you know something, I'm going to focus this summer on, I pulled away from AAU and I'm going to focus this summer on really working on my granddaughters. And I'm hoping as I work on Skylar, that the grandbaby, Olivia will pick it up. Obviously, like you said, your sister. And now I'm assuming your sister is younger than you, right?
Yes, and I have a younger brother who also plays ball as well.
Okay, so they both looked up to you there.
And then I looked up to my older sister who played basketball as well. So it was really, like I said, we have a full, like that's honestly like me and my sister for real. Like we were like that through. We were twinning, decking out in the purses, wearing the fake shoes to the stores, everything.
Hey, when I saw this, Alexa, I had to bring this picture on the night. I told Val, I said, everybody, I'm always talking about my grandbabies. There are the babies right there. They're looking into the show. So go ahead and wave at them, Alexis, real quick. They're looking at the show.
Hi.
So that's real cool. So, and it's great. So the question is on the table is with the older brother, then it's you, then you got your sister and younger brother. Were there fierce basketball games like in the backyard that dad just let y'all go at it? I mean,
So yes, I would say yes. So actually it's an older sister, then it's me, younger sister, and then my younger brother who's the prince.
Okay, the baby boy, baby. So you got the one brother though. Yes. Yeah, I got you. Yes.
So it started with me and my sister because she's 13 months younger than me. So her and I would just go to the courts, rec leagues, and just play against each other. It always ended up in us being like, my dad had to step in and be like, listen, we're done. Like, it's tied. We're walking away from this. But
I love it.
Yeah. And then my brother, as he got older and started to play, he started joining in the mix. So we started doing a lot of one-on-ones. And anytime my dad or my mom would want to jump in, we would do 2-on-2, just to have another person in there to, compete against. So it was always a great time when we went to the courts, and just having that competitiveness instilled in us at a young age. Like even I just remember vividly, like my dad would just have us out in the driveway. We would hit tennis balls against the wall, just like competing against, just doing anything to just compete, So that's really what he instilled in all of my siblings and I.
Yeah, that's awesome. If you have not listened to Up in Smoke with my guys, Matt Barnes and these guys talking to Cheryl Miller, please check that episode because she talked about the exact thing. Her and Reggie Miller used to be in the backyard going at it. And for those that don't know who Cheryl Miller is, you better go back and pull up the YouTube.
Yes.
But, that would make some serious game. And obviously, like you, they made the baby boy good. And obviously, Reggie's who Reggie was,
Yes.
So shout out to high school, and did you then go on to play ball in high school?
Yes, I went on to play ball in high school. I played at Hampton for 2 years, and then I transferred to Vincentian Academy. And that's a private school based off of McKnight Road. It was actually a girls' school way back in the day, and then it became co-ed. And when I went there, I graduated in 2016, and I won 2 WPIALs and a state title with them as well. Very honored to be playing on the team with the girls that I was playing with. It was just a fantastic time. It's a great memory.
Man, that is swoop. Now I'm assuming that 2016 time period, because I'm 23 years in that side of the house along with AAU. Were you also playing AAU in the summers and no mixing in between?
Yes, I was. AAU was something that I had to balance my time because I ran track. So it was something that I told my track coaches that, like, if we have meets, I kind of want to know ahead of time so I can plan out my, like, basically spring, because, you know, you would be playing in the spring as soon, maybe you get 2 weeks, you know what I'm saying? Like,
2 to
of a
3
break.
weeks, exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
2 or 3 weeks. It's not anything longer. And then we're starting right into AAU. So it was all the time. I actually played for a program called 4 Season Hoops, which I
Okay.
think brings very true to how I played the game, or just how I grew up around the game, because I was playing summer, fall, winter, and spring, like all season, all year. It was something that I was doing.
Yeah, I love that. I actually love that, man. For those that are listening in, I got my guest, Alexis Levi Griggs, on talking about coming up in the game. Again, all 4 seasons and playing. You know, let's give some love to the track. 'Cause I ran track as well. I was 100, 200. What did you run in track?
I was a 400, 800, and a 4x4. And then they threw in some throwing events, you know, to kind of, you know, rack up the points in a way. So I
Right.
wouldn't say I was a heptathlete at all, or
Okay.
heptathlon athlete, but I was someone that did multiple events.
Now, did you bring your sister along? Did she end up doing the same thing, or she just strictly was basketball?
So she was basketball, volleyball, and lacrosse. So she was more of a lacrosse girl around that
Oh,
time. She did
wow.
try track for a little bit. She was a sprinter. She would do the 102 and long jump. My brother was strictly basketball, but my older sister, she did basketball, volleyball, and track. So I followed in her footsteps of the
Yeah,
sport.
I know y'all was in the suburbs. You said lacrosse. I'm from the hoods. You put sticks in our hand, we fight. I'm telling you, right? I'm from the south side of Chicago. We're like, lacrosse. What was that? You know,
Yeah.
but it was good. So who do you give credit to? Because like you mentioned a moment ago, you got dad working out. You know, did he lay out specific programs or workout programs, or did he go like most people did and got you a trainer for basketball and a trainer for track and field, or it's kind of like you just started working on your own?
So my dad, he reached a very high level of his sport, which was football. So he was very much of like, if you want this, you're going to go for it. Ask me about anything that I can do to help you progress. And also with my mom as well. She was very avid in our development and training as well. But I would say with my dad, I just always remember he was someone who was always working out and always going to the track, always going to the gym. So he would bring us along and he'd be like, I do not care how you finish running a mile around this track, but you could crawl, you could walk, any way you're going to do it, you're going to do it. So he would just
I like
always
that.
bring us around, like, to just compete. Even my mom too, when she was out there rollerblading, she'd be like, do your
Rollerblade.
mile. Yeah. She would be like, do your mile some way, somehow. But it was always something where my dad and mom were always trying to find the best for us, but we were also very new to going through it in a way, because my older sister, she played basketball, but the AAU started to become really big around the time when I was playing, and my sister. So it was one of those things, like, if you're not training with someone or not looking for a trainer or someone to personally get your skill level better, then you gotta, go and find someone to do that. So I was very
Oh,
blessed that my AAU coach was able to do that. Like, she did training and she was an AAU coach. So it was kind of a 2-for-1 in a way.
mhm.
And then my high school coach as well, shout out to Ron Moncrief. He would just always have the gym open. And after or before school, we girls would just get together and just practice and, get better.
Man, that's good. Especially you don't see that anymore. You know,
Yeah.
I probably was the last of the dying breed. We went outside. We hoop and we
Yeah.
pull up outside on the course with metal backboards and chain nets in Chicago. And if you wasn't there early, don't. Hey, I'm telling you, Lexi, don't miss a
Yeah.
game. Don't get
Exactly.
beat.
Yeah.
Hey, don't get beat. Hey, you may not come back
Mhm.
up.
Exactly.
You know.
Exactly. You have to earn your time to be on that, like, court. That was how I loved going out to the blacktop and like playing with the guys and playing, like, just playing that kind of ball that you don't get in your high school game. Like, it's a tougher game. Guys they're fouling, they're not calling anything. It's like, okay, you got to bring your A game every single time you're in a possession, not even in a game. It's like each possession, you got to earn your right to be there. So,
And if you play with us, we told you what you can do. Hey, look, Lex, I know you out here. When you come down, sit on the wing, girl, take the jumper when we get it to you, and play some defense. If you do
Yep.
anything else that we tell you not, you ain't gonna get the ball. We're gonna put you out. So that's old
right.
school rules back in the day, you know.
Right.
Man, I tell you, we are sitting here having a great conversation. We're going to take a first quarter break on the Pull Up Podcast Show. We'll be right back after we pay a few bills. Valves, pay these bills. We'll be right back in one moment.
Yeah, and I was on your IG and I saw a picture of you and Al Jarreau.
Yeah, I met Al Jarreau after a show. We hang out together in an after party. George Duke was an actual friend of mine. We actually did a joint project in LA. Literally shared the stage with Shaka Khan at one point, and you know, she was performing and I was performing after her. It's one of those things you go, is this really happening? Is this really happening to me?
Of all of the heroes that you've met, who was the one that stood out the most?
I think for me, I think George Duke.
Yeah,
because he was just not just a musician or a producer, but he sort of was an architect of style.
Uh-oh, got you sideways. Turn it the other way for me. Turn your phone. We're gonna get Alexiss squared away. Val's gonna talk to her backstage on a couple of things. But hey, we're back here on the Pull Up Podcast Show with your main man, the one and only Coach Tony. We're having an opportunity to speak to my guest tonight, and Alexiss Levi Griggs, young lady that's doing some big things here. There you go, back in the house with me. As we were talking earlier about the high school years, let's give Dad a shout out. What's Dad's name, and where did he go on to play ball at?
His name is Anthony G. Griggs, and he played football. And he played at Villanova for 3 years, and then Ohio State for 1.
There you go, man. Oh, hey, tell him I'm screaming him right now. He better be back there talking about, you already know.
No, yep.
You already know. Me and Pop get along just fine when I get a chance to meet him, you know. And looking at that, you know, on everything, because everyone's got a middle initial, middle name. How did you get yours? Where'd that come from?
They really, really love the car Alexiss, but they wanted to make it very unique. So they loved like Lexus, but then they were like Alexis, and then they were like, let's put an S at it, on the end. And my sister actually has a very unique name as well. Her name is Erin with a Y, so Aaryn. So
okay.
we're yeah.
Black folks, I'm telling you right now, we do that because my daughter's name is Ashley, and her name is spelled Ashleigh, and we did that so that if she ever got famous, she didn't have to change it. And we had seen it from one of my cousins that we went to an early graduation. When she graduated earlier, we loved the name, but I didn't want the Ley. So we changed it and put the Lee on the end of it. And there you go.
Love it. I love it.
We're gonna make it happen.
Oh yeah, we're gonna make it unique. I love it.
Exactly. So now you come out of high school, you got a couple state rings, you're doing some major, you're doing some big things and all that. Did you get an opportunity during a high school time to play with any girl on the team that went on to play major basketball?
Yes, actually, all of our starting 5 in high school went on to go play at the next level, whether that was D1, D2, or D3. Everyone went to go play. So it was really awesome to be playing with the caliber of athletes, but also the girls that, are striving to play at that next level. It kind of every day in practice, it was a nice family friendly competition that was there.
Right. What made you guys such a close knit team? What was the one thing that you think that, back to back stage, that's hard to do? Win one is hard, but back to back,
Yeah.
and all that. What made that team so unique in the way you guys practice, the way you guys played the game, the way you guys worked out? What made it so unique?
I would say every day when we walked into practice, we were so locked in, but at the same time, our coach, he has been around the game for so long and so successful that he knew what it took, but he allowed us to really have moments of team bonding, like maybe if it's before the game, we have like a pregame meal, or maybe after the game, like on the bus ride back, like, or blasting music, like singing and
Oh,
dancing, that kind of stuff. So it was little things that were moments that you'll just never forget, even in like the locker room, being allowed to like hype up, before the game. Those little things are just always like you'll cherish and remember them. And I feel like the winning in the games and the points that all of us were able to score, and all of us were able to be like weapons out there and threats, scoring threats, is just something that came a part of having that camaraderie and
man,
connection.
that's awesome. And I know exactly how you feel because
Yeah.
I have had an all-girls Catholic school, and I know those bus rides, and I know the crazy music they play behind my head and the chants and all of that stuff. And I'm proud to say, I've got a young lady getting ready to go to Notre Dame, got a young lady getting ready to go to Stanford, got 3 girls getting ready to go to Tennessee. So it makes it great. Now almost brought me to tears at the end of the season reading the messages, how well that they love being under my coaching. So I definitely get it, and all that. If you have a question, make sure you get that question in the chat line to Val as we're sitting here having a great conversation with Alexiss Griggs. We got a question that one of my buddies was asking, where did you decide to go on and play college basketball once you left high school?
Yeah, so I went to go play at Indiana University of Pennsylvania. It is a D2 school that is in the Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference. It's known as the PSAC.
Yep.
The very, very competitive and league, and I decided to go play under Coach Tom McConnell, and Kelly Mazzani and Jocelyn Floyd.
Oh, wow. Yeah. And, and what do you think, from dad being an athlete, mom rolling around, they got y'all grinding in the backyard, and then you get an opportunity to have a couple state championships, and now you at a D2 school. What was it that you were able to bring with you from all the upbringing, all the training? What was it you were able to bring to the next level and still be effective?
What I would say, because I actually really love this question, because I had a very unique journey through college. I came in, was really going to be an impact player, but wasn't immediately ready because the level's different.
Yep.
But one thing that my coach always told me and said that was my work, like he always knew what he was going to get every day in practice, was like I wasn't going to just give up, or not even give up, but like I was always going to try to outwork someone, in practice. And I always loved having competitive practice as well. But I would say my defense was something that I really translated and also elevated as well, because also you're defending, high school girls, and then you're going to play against women, and they're stronger, they're faster, the game's a little different. So I really had to grow that part of my game, but that is something that I always had with me because of I love to condition. I love to always give my 100% effort. And I would say my rebounding as well, which is all a part of that, is like effort, always trying to give 100% and always having a knack to go get the ball and gain a possession for my team and teammates as well, because that's a part of the game, as well as possessions. You got to win the game of possessions, right?
Yep. Hey, girl, y'all better be listening to her tonight. She's dropping nuggets. As I got a guy that I go, my guy, Wise, and he was talking about, man, she's dropping nuggets and fire. If y'all ain't listening, y'all better be recording it or replay this. She's telling you, and Dad, I know Dad's loving it. Hang your hat on the defensive end, because I tell kids all the time, and you tell me if I'm right or I'm wrong. When you have 5 guys, right, let's say me, you, your dad, your brother, and your sister, we go out to the park to play ball.
Mhm.
We're not going out there with a freaking playbook. We're just going out there at 5 strangers to go play basketball. The
Right.
one thing that everyone can do on that court is what? Play defense. Now,
Mhm.
offensively, we'll figure out where your strengths are at as the game goes on. But
Right.
on the defensive side of the house, you got one thing: shut your man down and rebound.
Yep.
Period. And when you have that and you're going in that situation, you guys had a very, very tough conference. It wasn't like it was an easy conference. That was a very tough conference up there. What over the years playing up there, what was probably one of your best seasons you had?
I would definitely say, and I say with such a smile because it was honestly one of my favorite seasons. I actually would say my junior year. And I would say that because the way the team was so exciting and so eventful to watch, but also be a part of. Like we had a bond. We bonded so well off the court, but it, like I said, it before, when you have that bonding off the court, it just translates on the court as well. So we were
Yes.
able to like dish have assists to girls. Girls were running as hard as they could because they knew, if she's running hard, I'm going to run hard, or if she's working her butt off on defense, I'm going to work my butt off on defense. It was one of those seasons that it was really like a magical season that I really thought we were going to really like take it all, and one of those things. I would say my senior year too, but, COVID ended up coming in the mix of that.
Oh, yeah. Forgot about that.
So
Yeah,
with
that killed a
full,
lot of people.
yeah. So with a full season of, having playoffs and being able to make a run in the Elite Eight and getting to the Final Four in D2, that was like my ultimate like favorite season in college.
Oh man, I'm gonna rewind the tape and go back to what you said a moment ago. That sticks out to me most important. A lot of kids think they're gonna walk right out of a high school gym, right off of a high school team, and walk right into a college D1, D2, and start right away. And I
Mhm.
love that you were able to get there, and the coach said, "Hey, Lex, I love you, but hey, we got some development to do.
Mhm.
I know you're gonna play. I know you're gonna be here. You're gonna be a very big part of this team, but we need to develop." What was the one thing that coach told you that in order to step on the court, was it your shot? Was it quickness? Was it strength? What did you have to get in order to make sure you were going to be a very valuable member of the team?
So it was the IQ at the speed of the college game, if that makes
There
sense.
you go. Yeah, the
It was one of
IQ and the shot clock.
yes, the shot clock, understanding the possessions, understanding a great shot instead of a good shot, and
Yes,
also understanding what is a better two, if that makes sense. Like if you're shooting a layup, that's a great two versus a long two that's like your toes on the 3-point line. You know what I'm saying?
correct.
Versus or knowing who you can pass the 3 ball to. Like I had great 3-point shooters. Shout out to Natalie Myers, shout out to Courtney Alexander and Justina Mascaro. Fantastic, love them, great teammates. I just knew exactly where they were going to be, and they were one of those teammates that I was like, okay, they're going to be here and being able to dish it. So being able to read and playing off the bounce and kind of working on my guard skills in a way as a
Mhm.
forward is really what I developed. But I would say too, it was just understanding my role and being great at my role as well, because everyone has a role on the team,
Yep.
but it's like you can't step into someone else's because that isn't who you are. So being able to
Right.
understand my strengths, being able to understand what I can bring and who I am, and just bringing that every single day and not wavering from that, I think is something I have to do.
Love it. Hey, and my strength was I told you what to do. I was a PG.
Yeah.
The ball in my hand. So Lex, you wasn't running the floor, you wasn't getting it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If you wasn't boxing out, you definitely wasn't getting. And don't start missing shots. I'm gonna talk about you. I'm your teammate, but we're gonna get into it. That was that old school in your face. Me and my boys used to damn near get into fights almost with each other. Hey man, don't take that shot no more. Hey, look, you better make that layup. And okay, you ain't gonna make the layup? That's no problem. I bet you won't get it for the next 3 or 4 possessions.
Right.
So, did you go through a situation like that because you like you said, you knew where the shooters were at, and you just took the words out of my mouth. My coach used to tell me, don't go out there by the 3-point line and put them long toes on the line and take a long two. If you're gonna do that, back up 6 inches, at least give me a 3 out of it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
If
Exactly.
you're gonna be out that far, it's 6 or 7 inches, bag up. So were you able to, in practice, be able to see that, and as you're able to see the game, and once you learn how to play with the shot clock and with better shot selections, how did that make you perform better?
It took my game honestly to another level, I would say. It was like one of the things where the game just started to slow down for me. And I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, I'm seeing things like 2 or 5 steps ahead. And then I was able to, like, in practice, just being able to practice, because I actually love practice. And I say I
There
love
you
it
go.
because it's the lab of where you're able to test things that you can mess
Yep.
up now versus when you get in a game. That's going to start count. It's going to count towards a winner or a loss. So it's like,
And I'm gonna sit you down.
yeah, right. And you'll be on the bench if something happens. So it's one of those things where I was like, okay, let me test it now. And if it doesn't work, if I turn it over 3 times, all right, that's not where I'm supposed to be. But one of the things that really elevated my game was when I was able to really finish consistently, because people starting to had to guard me, or they were sagging off. And then that's where I elevated my mid-range game. And once I got my mid-range, they started having to play me further out, or they were sagging off. So I had to develop scoring at all 3 levels. That's what I really had to work on. And I'm really proud that I was able to do that. But I have to attribute that to my coaches that were always watching film with me, always in the gym with me as well. And also my teammates for keeping it 100 with me. At times they were like, Lex, you shot like three threes and none of them went. Start getting
Right.
into the paint. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't settle. Like, go with what you're good at. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Versus trying to do something that's not in your comfort range or what your strengths are.
Man, I'm absolutely loving. We sitting down talking to my girl Alexiss Griggs, and then she just made me fall in love with her. And she said mid-range game. Like, what is that French or is that Spanish? Nobody know what the hell
Right.
that is nowadays, right? Mid-range
Nowadays,
game. What are you
right.
talking about?
Exactly.
We're gonna take a break here at halftime. Lex is now playing on my All-Star game. I need to go in the locker room and make sure we can get this assist and win this game. We'll be right back on the Pull Up Podcast Show with your guy, Coach Tony and Alexiss Griggs. We'll be right back. Val, let's go pay another bill. Hey, it's your main man, right back at you, coming live here from the Rise Studios. And it's your guy talking about what? Pull Up Podcast Show. What is the Pull Up Podcast Show? It's a brand new podcast hitting your airways nationwide, talking everything on sports, from baseball, basketball, hockey, and then I tell you, we're going to have a lot of fun. So make sure, if you want your questions answered, you want to have fun talking a lot of sports, make sure you pull up on me, because it's the Pull Up Podcast Show.
It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up, pull up.
Also, for those that want to learn a little bit more about this right here, oh yeah, that right there, that's the Rise, NIL, talking name, image, and likeness. Those having opportunities to get paid, you want to tune in to it.
Sports show, let's go. It's the Pull Up Podcast show. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up, pull up. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up, let's go.
Welcome back, man. Lex and my nephew dropped that track. I just want to bounce every time I hear it,
It's good.
It's nice with that. And we are back hitting the third quarter. Val, do me a favor. We got a little video that we want to drop right here, talking about a couple of things that Coach Lex is involved in. Drop that video for us real quick.
Run it down. Design is up. So run it down. Get your money up. Ooh, baby, it's dangerous. Your problems are just not the same to us.
Ooh, man. Ooh, you making me feel I'm a little mad right now, Lex, because this is 23. This is the 24th season of 25 coaching, 23 AAU, and this is the first year that I'm not doing my AAU this summer. And and they're telling me, man, Coach, what are you doing to yourself? So tell Pops, I keep my golf clubs in the trunk. If I want to pull up in PA, I'll pull up. We get on the golf course. because I'm swinging them clubs, you know.
Oh, I'll be out there with you too. I got
Oh, you
clubs.
play golf too? Oh
Yes,
my God! Oh, I love you. Yeah. Hey, matter of fact, I gotta get a picture of you and my granddaughter. Oh yeah, we gonna
come
make
out to
this
the
happen.
Berg. Come out to
Hey,
the
we're gonna
Berg.
make this. As a matter of speaking, I'm gonna make sure I put you down. Val and I are working on something. I'm working on my first annual Pull Up Podcast Show golf event. We're gonna try to figure out some place to have it at, nice in the spring, summer, and we're gonna try to invite some people. So I'm gonna make sure I keep you guys on that list, on the
Yes.
short list.
Oh, yes.
Tell us a little bit about the AAU. What's going on with that?
Oh, I am loving it. AAU is so amazing. I think it's a great opportunity for athletes just to be able to expose themselves and also try their development skills that they've been training so hard, you know, whether it's the fall, during season, and then a little bit of spring, but able to now just play and work on your game. That's what I really believe AAU is for. Yes, the exposure is there. Yes, you're going to be recruited if you're, you know, a top athlete and looking to go to that next level. But I truly believe it's more of your growth in the game. That's really what I feel Emerson Elite, the program I'm with, is about, you know. So yeah.
That's amazing. You know, you sitting over there hanging out with none other than founder Chucky Humphreys. You know, learning
Shout out
what
to
have you been able to pick up or pick his brains or learn from him sitting in that passenger seat?
Yeah, what I'm learning from him is just the tenacity and how passionate. When you show the girls how passionate and committed you are, they just pour themselves into being passionate and committed into their game as well. But what I'm really actually learning a lot from, and he may say indifferent, but I'm learning so much of the X's and O's from him, strategic strategy of the coaching game in the AAU realm, being on like by his side in this, because he is such an X's and O's kind of guy that I'm like, oh my gosh, like, yeah, I didn't think of this in this situation. So learning a lot of the strategy, because I was always that player, just like, tell me what to do, I'll go do it, you know. But from his mindset and his mind learning this, it's really amazing and such an honor to be learning from him, because he was actually one of the top and best athletes at IUP. He played on the men's basketball team. And so to get to coach with him and do this is really, really amazing and an honor.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, hump like me. I'm an X's and O's guy. All my kids and came through me. I'm a big X's and O. I may run something out of the sideline. I may run some baseline you ain't never seen us practice before.
Yes.
Period. You
Yes.
know,
Call a
I'll be
timeout.
like, you know, I'm like, look, every time that you on the ball, I see Lex, she's guarding you hard on your strong hand side. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna set a pin down. We're gonna run off the pin down and come over the top. And then once we get over the top off that pin down, we're gonna bring you right back to the middle of the free throw for the jump. They're like, well, coach, we never ran that before. Don't ask questions, just run the play.
Right. You'll stand here, you be here, do this. And then we'll do it. And it's like, boom, and it works. And it's just so amazing to just see the live action of how everything, when you're drawing it and then it being executed, is just really, really exciting. But I also love seeing their growth from each week, you know, that you're going into a tournament. You know,
Sure.
it's just amazing to watch and amazing to be a part of, because that is why you coach, you know, in a way, is to see their growth and development in becoming the player they want to become, but also the young student athletes, young adults, you know, young ladies, young guys. You know, it's just really, really an honor to just be a part of their journey in a small or big way.
Yeah, I mean, well, I'm gonna tell it to you like this, girl. 24 years with me, AAU, over 500 plus next level, several in the NBA, several overseas. Got several coaches that are associate head coaches in the ACC, Big Ten, Big East, ACC. So those are the program. I got 2 national championships. And Lexi, I must toot my horn. I am one of the few. I am on the actual AAU Wall of Historical Fame in Orlando, Florida. In 2005, I became one of the only teams in the nation. I knocked off 3 number 1 seeds on the way to win a national championship by plus 21. And we were a 4 seed and we blew them. So
round of applause. That's
I know
amazing.
my boy, Kenny the Jet Smith is my main man. He out there telling. I'm gonna send this show to him. He gonna laugh about it because I knocked off the program, knocked out Derek Fisher's Arkansas Wings. So I love this situation. So give some shout outs to some of your girls that are working hard and some of your girls who you think that are probably got the it factor and on their way. What makes them so good?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to give a shout out to Hope, Julia, Maddie, Britt. I'm also thinking Bella, my young girls, Kalea. I'm also thinking as well as Mia, just any of those girls that I've shouted out, but mostly all of them as well. I just truly believe all of them can go to the next level. With some of the guys as well, you know, I'm thinking Major, I'm thinking Anthony, I'm thinking Eric, I'm thinking Owen. You know, some of the guys like from the guy side, they all can go to the next level. I just believe if they put the work in and work on their weaknesses so that they can become strengths, that's where they're really going to see growth and just be like, okay, who's next? Versus like, oh, we're going to go play this team. It's going to be like, who's next? No matter who's in front of me at this point, I know I got this, you know?
Right.
But
That's the question I was going to ask you. What's the difference that you've seen as a player just coming out not too long ago? Because rewind the tape, you know, we hit a dark spot in the United States. My son went through that. You and him were right together. COVID killed a lot of the players' opportunity. He was playing ball. I see the kid, Brandon Miller, that with Charlotte Hornets. He was a teammate of his. And, you know, after he came through that, I love my son. He's now getting ready to be a senior graduating in mass media and production music out of Middle Tennessee State University. And, you know, but the pandemic hit, you know, J.P. Gibbs was another kid I can think of here. I remember watching the high school, and let's see, he hit a half court shot to win and take them to state. And the next day, it's shut down. No state, nobody going outside, nothing. So coming through that situation and now looking at these kids today, what do you think that you've been able to kind of give them or put into them that you were like, man, you know, this part got shut down for me, but if it didn't, I was going to be like, bam. But what is that you're able to put into these kids to make sure they continue to move forward?
yeah, what I got from having my love and identity kind of taken in a way, it's kind of shifted, I would say, my perspective and how I've looked at things, if that makes sense.
Yep.
But what I give to the girls or into the guys as well is more of being in the moment and being in the moments of while you're playing the game and looking at it as this is a part that you're going to be a part of this program. You're going to be a part and be with these teammates, but you don't know how long that may be. But at the same time, why not try to enjoy it while you're there? So it's more of like living in the moment, living in the presence. That's really what I try to really do for them, and also bring as well as in any moment of the game, any point in time, is just reminding them that, you know, be where your feet are is something that my college coach would always say, Coach McConnell, shout out to him. He is my dude. Like
don't be over here, be right here.
Yeah, he is amazing. And he was always saying like, be where your feet are, which I never really got until the pandemic happened. And it was one of those things where I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do next? And it was one of those things where I was able to be around family, you know, look at a perspective of how can I still be involved in basketball? It may not look like I'm playing, even though that is a little secret that's coming up, but it is one of those things where you just never know where the direction of your life may go, but why not enjoy the moments that you do have?
Man, I cannot stress more what you just said because of everything that the kids go through. And of course, nowadays they're going through some different things than we do in terms of the way the game is being played, in terms of hand checking, in terms of the coaching. And I talk about players are going to play for different type of coaches, different type of coaching styles. We got a couple of questions on deck for you, but we're going to take our last break of the night on the Pull Up Podcast show. We're going to end the third quarter, and then I got to give Lex some instructions because she got to win this game for me because I don't lose. We'll be right back. Val, pay my last bill and get these bill collectors out of my pocket. Be right back on the Pull Up Podcast Show.
I've always thought about how my mom has supported me in any creative endeavor. How beautiful was it for your mom to be the superhero in your life and show up in your creative ventures with this book?
People ask her to sign the book more than they ask me to sign the book. Sometimes I step to the side, I take their picture. And, we have to celebrate our mothers. We got to celebrate our beginning. So she comes out with me. Every event, she is there. Even when I tell her she does not need to come, she will show up in the parking lot. And I'm like, oh, okay, you coming? Okay. I'm like, all right.
Right. And she got a bottle of wine in her hand.
What in the world? Why are you giving her alcohol?
No, I'm just saying. She showed up in the parking lot. She got a bottle of wine, nice wine. She's going to set it down. She ready for the show, Val. You know what I'm saying? Because the funny part about it is, CJ, I've actually talked to Val. I thought about, writing a book myself called My Man's in Them.
I love it.
And look at Val.
My man's in them.
My man's in them. But you got to read the book. You got to read the book. But it's a play. CJ, I apologize because Val should have dropped some old Dub C so you could have came out crip walking. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not flamed up right now. I got to hold on. Trying to get me shot.
Going back to school tomorrow, like, I saw you, Miss Charles. I saw you.
I mean, I can crip walk, so please, but I'm kind of, I'm authoring right now. You guys are funny.
And welcome back to the fourth quarter of the Pull Up Podcast Show with your boy, Coach Tony, and my girl, Alexiss Griggs. That is by far one of my best commercials. I love CJ. Shout out to CJ Charles. She's a young female Black author. She wrote a kid's book. She's in LA. You get an opportunity, anything, Lex, let us know. We're trying to make sure we push her books, and she's doing a heck of a good job, and I love it.
Love it. Yeah, for sure. Send me the link of how I can buy your book.
I'll definitely do that. Got a question on the table from PMRG. Says that they want to know, going through your entire basketball and everything, how has the development helped you with wins and losses in your personal life regarding basketball?
Yeah, that is such a great question. So I really looked at basketball as a direction of how to navigate through life. And I have always said, actually, I love two things. I love basketball and love Jesus. So I keep Jesus very, very close and near and dear to my heart, because he allows me to be able to navigate and be my compass, of how to act, how to move through the wins and losses, and knows that they are for me. They're happening for me, not to me, in some way. And with basketball, that's kind of like the way of the possessions, the runs of the game. You may have your person that you're guarding, is scoring 2 or 3 points. You're like, oh, I got to stop him, or you just had 2 fouls. How are you going to react? How are you going to respond? And how are you going to keep on track to know that this is just a small moment in the game? But how are you going to end up going to finish and win the game? You know what I'm saying? Or how are you going to go on to win that next possession? Or how are you going to navigate having those two fouls? Are you going to go get your third and then now you got to sit? Or are you going to be more smart and be more of a mindfulness in the game? And then with wins, celebrating, and I give God all the glory. Like, it is an honor to be on this podcast, like I said, and also to have the experience of my career, basketball career, athletic career, and also to just do it with such a great supporting family, and also friends as well. Shout out to the Owenses, Owens family, shout out to the Potter family as well. They have just been great vessels in my life to just be able to lean on through my highs and lows. But
that's great. And speaking of the Potter family, the question on the table was to, give us a moment in your basketball career in terms of your memories, that one of the best basketball games, whether high school or college, that you played.
So it's crazy. So actually I was looking through my phone the other day and I saw the video, and it's of a video where I get the ball full court and it's against like a rival, like one of these girls that I've been battling with for the last 4 years, and it's on senior night. So let me set the stage. It's senior night. So it's the last home game. Family flew in. People are there that haven't really seen me play in person. So it's one of those things where it's like, okay, Lex, you want to do well?
Let's turn up.
Yeah, exactly. So I get the ball, starting on the other side of the court. I start dribbling up. I do a little in and out move. Everyone starts standing up. They're like, oh, I do a little Euro, go for the reverse layup and make it and get like a little and one, and the whole gym went crazy. That was honestly one of the moments where I was like, oh my gosh, did I just do that? Like, did that just happen?
Just did it with the in and out, and then with the Euro, with the reverse. Oh, wait.
Yeah, it was just one of those moments where I was like, did I do that? And I'm looking at my teammates and to see them so excited for me to do that move, because I did it in practice, like maybe like a day before, and nothing was working. And it was like, don't do this move. And so when I whipped it out, it was one of those, like, coach was even, I looked at the video closer and coach was on the sideline like, oh, okay, it went in.
Right. That is, hey, you gotta, hey, that's the thing, it went in. Because coach be like, no, good shot, girl, great shot. You know us. We're telling you no until it goes in. We're like, hey,
right.
That's a great move.
Right. And I would say that was one moment, but I would have to say a top, like I have a lot, but top moments would just be winning championships with my girls. Sisters, honestly, that I can call for life. More Deanna, actually more Beth Deanna, as well as Justina Mascaro, Natalie Myers, Courtney Alexander as well. Like I said before, those are my girls. I'm just very, very grateful to be played with them. So
hey, people better pick up. She's dropping some carrots. She's dropping fire flame. Whatever you talk about, she's dropping cabbage, some lettuce. You better make a salad right now, because Griggs is putting them on. Let's hit it to the. Now I'm gonna turn the heat up a little bit, and I'm gonna put you in the flames real quick, because we talk about this quite a bit on this show, dealing with the NIL. Obviously, me and Pops came out, give or take around the same time. Money was under the table. When he was playing ball at Villanova, and I was playing basketball. I remember games. I went and hit the jump shot. Coach, 100th victory. Got invited to a party with the boosters that night. And you get an envelope. But now you don't have to do that anymore, because envelopes are coming beforehand. So, question one is, I want to know your thoughts on the new NIL process. And then the second thing is, do you think that these kids nowadays are putting themselves in position to succeed, or are they hurting themselves?
This is a great two-parter question. And I'm saying that because the first part is, I was an administrator. I took a break from coaching for a little bit and was an administrator. So when I was at Robert Morris, I was compliance and name, image, and likeness coordinator. So I really got a hands-on experience with seeing how it is at a mid-major level, with Robert Morris. But I do say too, because I came out, it happened right after COVID. So I was like, man, I was like, if I would have had this.
You're like, I'm a day late and a dollar short.
I'm like, yeah, exactly. But I was more so on this of the opportunity of, it's a good opportunity to learn financial literacy for the kids, also to know how to build your brand, and as well as to know how to navigate kind of the business world of things, like how to track money, taxes, making sure you're, like I said, financial literacy, to round out everything. But I do also see the other side of it, where it's like the kids are just like, how can I make $200? It's like, whoa, well, you have to understand it's name, image, and likeness. So one of those three things has to be hit for you to make money. It's not just going to be like, because you're on a sports team, you're just going to be making money, that kind of thing.
Social media got to be up.
Exactly. That too, because that's a big key component on how you can easily get endorsements, sponsorships, deals, anything like that. So it's one of those things where the work you put in is the work you're going to get out of it, is what I try to remind the kids about. And I'm so sorry to ask, but I literally forgot the second part of your question, and I wanted to answer it.
The second part of the question is, how do you think the kids nowadays are navigating through it?
Yeah. So I think it differs on each level. I think really at the high level, it's one of those things where it's a pay for play, which is sad to say, but
Yep.
it's more of that's what it really is, especially for like football, the big three, you know what I'm saying? Like the big three
Yep.
sports, which is basketball, football, or men's basketball, football, and women's basketball that are going
Correct.
to be
The big
bringing in
three.
revenue. Yeah, the big three.
Yep.
So it's one of those things where it's really like how you go into your college career is how what you're going to get out of it. But I always try to, and I bring this in, is I really want kids to remember the reason why you're going to college is to get that degree, to get that bachelor's degree. You know, it's not just because of the money. It's not just because of how big your social media or getting that check mark. It's really about that education that at the end of the day, once you have that, no one can take that away. Like no one can extract that from your mind, extract that from your brain. So I really want that to be an emphasis of what I emphasize on NIL. But also, too, I think it is a great way for you guys to student athletes to earn money, but just be mindful of how it is being dealt, and also read the contracts, or if you need advice or if you need legal advice, just ask the questions.
Come right here. Come right here to the rise.
There you go.
Right here. There you go. You need to come right here to the rise. NIL. I got you.
There you go. Go to resources that know more about the NIL platform, because you don't want to get yourself tangled into something that you can't get out of at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly.
And also, why are you going to go chase a bag versus chase an education? Why not go chase both? You know,
Hey,
be mindful.
Deion said it best with his son. Hey, I don't need to chase the bag if I chase the right stuff, because the bag's going to come.
Bingo.
You know, and that's what a lot of people don't get. And so I'm going to turn the heat up even harder now. We're going to go from medium, because I like a little medium smoke, but I'm a jalapeno guy, so we're going to put it about 90, 95. You know, it makes me so upset that, you know, I'm saying it tonight. It makes me so upset that a guy like Nick Saban can reach out to the 47th and want to get him involved in rewriting the NIL process. When Nick Saban, you won a hell of a lot of championships at Alabama, and you didn't say a word. Everything was great. Everything was even good. And them Aflac commercial with Deion Sanders. You know what I'm saying? Aflac, he getting his paper. It was good. But now, all of a sudden, you know, Bama ain't getting that, right? Shout out to Pops, Ohio State, Michigan, the Big Ten. We rolling. I'm a big Ten guy. And so we got the last two and going to probably get next year too. I love y'all SEC, but the Big Ten is going to probably roll off 3. But the crazy part about it is that you now step in to go to a president, to have a president say he's going to invoke an executive decision to get this in order. Now, don't get me wrong. I think there needs to be some conformity around it, and it's the NCAA's fault for even letting it get this far, from going from when me and your dad played ball to money on the table, to money on the table, to now contracts. Obviously, the NBA has contracts, right? That's why they can't leave every single year. You'll be seeing these guys bounce every year. They have 3-year, 4-year, 5-year, 6-year, 8, 9, 10-year contracts. If anything, give these young men that are coming through, that are, you know, because right now I'm telling you, and I'm telling you, and I'm letting you know, Lex, with your program, you and Coach Hump, if you're not moving forward, a part of ESPN or 24/7 Top 150, then I'm telling these kids now, stop knocking JUCO, stop knocking post-grad, because JUCO and post-grads are going to be the new D1. Because D1 ball players are already sought after on the EYBL and on the Under Armour circuits because Adidas is gone. So these kids already know where they're going in that next year. So when you look at that, and you look at what Nick Saban's trying to do, trying to involve the White House in that, as a former player, recent player, and now your AU with these new kids, what are your thoughts around that?
The way I would say it is, I think it's something the NCAA more so. I think Nick Saban, especially with his voice and the weight he has, he could have went to the NCAA or the president, meaning the NCAA president, and talked about how to navigate it, because I feel like it was NCAA that opened the can of worms,
Yep.
not the government, you know. And once you get the government, because there is with NCAA or the NIL, it goes into kind of states, you know, not every state is governed the same. So once you put a federal kind of regulation on it, it's going to change the whole way the NIL is going to be working. You know, I just feel like because now when you have states kind of regulating the state laws of NIL,
Yep.
it keeps it more governed to the state, and people in the state can be specific to that. But once you put the federal on it, it just brings more, I feel like, levels to maybe a lawsuit or maybe in some way of something that you wouldn't want, but it could go to that level. Because I do know, especially with NIL, the House versus NCAA came out,
Yep.
you know, of potentially having student athletes become employees. This is all speculation, but at the same time, it is something that is progressing or still happening. You know,
Yep.
I'm not sure if they closed the case because I haven't lately been reading up on it, but I do know that is actually happening like today, you know?
Oh, yeah, it's happening on there. And as we close out here, I want you to shout out Mom. I want you to shout out Dad, because I appreciate them putting you in a positive position of loving. Can't wait to meet Pops. Can't wait to get you on the golf course. And the last thing I want to know is if you could leave the people that are listening tonight with some positive advice who have either one, kids in the position of AAU, or two, kids are in high school getting ready to go to the next level. As a former player, what kind of advice would you leave those guys?
My advice to y'all would be your attitude dictates your altitude. So just remember that is the attitude you bring into anything, the attitude that you bring into practice or into a game when things are high or when things are low. That is going to dictate how far and how well you'll go. I mean, I can't say it will go either way, but you'll have a better shot if you go into it with a positive attitude.
Man, I love it. I love it. Love it. And what's Mom and Dad's name? One more time. Put them on the block.
Got Beth Ann Anderson Griggs and then Anthony Griggs.
That's what I'm talking about. And I got to shout out to baby girls again, Skylar, Wilson, and of course, Liv, as I call her Friday, because she was born on Good Friday. That's her name. That's baby Liv on everything. Hey, I want to thank you. This has been phenomenal. The information tonight, you dropped so many nuggets on everything. And for those that need information, as Coach was talking about, please tune in to www.therisenil.com so that you can learn a little bit more about the NIL process, so we can help you unleash your potential of getting to the next level, so we can make sure that we match the brands, we match the athletes together so that everyone comes out on a positive inside. And my co-host and my producer of the show, Val the Voice Johnson. By the way, Lex, she wrote a book called A DJ Saved My Life, how she describes going through a tough situation in her life and how music and being a DJ and becoming a podcaster saved her life. So that is awesome. And for those of you that want to tune in, we not only have the sports show, but on Tuesday nights, we have Interludes Talk on Tuesday at the same time, 8:00 p.m. Central. So please tune in, and we're going to talk about a few different things that's been going on, a couple of shows that's been ending, and I appreciate it. Lex, thank you so much for showing up on the show tonight. I look forward to having you back when you're doing bigger things. And when you get that big job on the sideline, you better make sure I get a job with you as a special liaison to the head coach. You know what I'm saying?
Will do.
They got those right now. So in the meanwhile, put those two fingers up for me. We got one thing to say. We appreciate you guys, but peace.
Peace.
It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up, pull up. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up, pull up. Bounce the boys and Coach Tony, you know. It's the Pull Up Podcast. So, I said bounce the boys and Coach Tony, you know. It's It's the Pull Up Podcast. Show. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Show. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Show. Kev is the engineer. Val is the one you hear. Hey, Coach Tony got the sports show. Let's go. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Show. I said Kev is the engineer. Val is the one you hear. Hey, Coach Tony got the sports show. Let's go. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Show. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast.